What's good, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. This is Skills Reacts, and we are back with another episode. This is what's going on today in the USA. All right, so we got some breaking headlines today. We got Trump making a deal in the Middle East. You guys are gonna hear about that. He's supposedly really trying to stop that fight in Gaza, so that seems to be coming into effect. Also, they got a suspect for the Palisades, I think it's called, in California. The fires in California, they got a suspect who maybe started those fires. Got a couple different things here, so we got some things we're gonna show. We're gonna look into some more of Charlie Kirk, see if we got any more information there from Candace Owens. So with that said, let's jump into it, and let's see what we got in store for us today, right? All right, here we go. Let's go here. All right.
Economy. About how we can solve the healthcare crisis that we inherited from the Biden administration. But it's one thing to say that we should solve the healthcare crisis for Americans. It's another thing to say that we're going to shut down the government unless we give the Democrats every single thing that they want, which, as Caroline says, includes giving billions of dollars of taxpayer funding for healthcare for illegal migrants. That's ridiculous. You don't have policy disagreements that serve as the basis for a government shutdown. Let's have the conversation about how to fix American healthcare, about how to make healthcare more accessible. As the president showed, he's more than willing to act on behalf of the American people for this very reason. What you don't do is say, unless you do exactly what we want to do as congressional Democrats, we're taking a hostage. And the hostage, it turns out, is critical, essential services that the American people need. Caroline talked about some of it. Let me talk about some more. Our troops are not getting paid starting today because of the Chuck Schumer wing of the Democratic Party. We have people who require food assistance, low-income Americans who require food assistance, who will not get it unless we reopen the government, thanks to Chuck Schumer and his wing of the Democratic Party. We have flood insurance as we start hurricane season in the southeastern part of our country. That flood insurance is going to disappear because of Chuck Schumer and the far left of the Democratic Party. We need to reopen the government. Let's fix America's problems. Let's work together to solve them. But let's reopen the government before we have our negotiation about healthcare policy. That's what the American people demand, and that's certainly what the President of the United States wants. Let me make one final point. I think a lot of Americans are asking themselves, why did this happen? Why did the Democrats shut?
Let's see what we got here. So, what they want to see about the hostages. So Trump's been trying to stop these, stop the war between Hamas and Israel. So let's see his progress right here. You guys are going to see.
Much is happening to get the hostages freed, and we think they'll all be coming back on Monday. So it looks like that's the thing, and that'll include the bodies of the dead. And you know, the parents that we're, I talked to so many of them, but the parents are almost more intent, but equally intent is getting in just about all cases their son's body back.
Dang.
Than they are as though the young man was alive. It's just the same intensity. They want their baby's body back. That's what one woman said. I want my baby's body back. And, you know, the son is 25, 26 years old. So that's a very big part of it.
I'm not really a cupcake, but I am super.
He's pushing for the release of all the hostages and for the end of the war in Gaza. That seems to me what he's doing.
Pushed over the finish line in real time as the Secretary of State Marco Rubio interrupted a White House meeting to slide the president this urgent note.
They're smart, but they're not smart enough. Oh, my microphone's broken. Departments to find the criminal conspiracy.
Okay. I'm just giving. Yeah, I was just given a note by the Secretary of State saying that we're very close to a deal in the Middle East.
Ooh.
And they're going to need me pretty quickly.
Most transparent presidency you're ever going to see.
Wow.
Emotional scenes breaking out in Israel, understandably, last night as friends and family of the hostages heard the news. They're coming together to celebrate as we now wait to see if Hamas end its reign of terror and holds up their end
They're gonna
of the
release the
bargain.
hostages
And that's
on
going to be key,
Monday,
guys. They got to
maybe?
get the 52 in place, the 20 plus that we hope are alive, and then bring them from different desperate parts of Gaza, bring them together and get them out. Now, in turn, there's going to be a lot of prisoners that are going to be getting out. And I guess they got to settle on the numbers now and who's on the roster of prisoners to be released. 200 plus are on life sentences.
So part of the difficulty here with this deal, Brian and Ainsley, is that when they did October the 7th, they put the prisoners all over, send them to other proxies.
What's the deal? That's what I want to know. I want to know
and now
what
they
the
have
deal
to
is.
locate all of them. Some of them they could get back pretty much immediately, but the other ones they're going to have to track down,
So they are-
including the dead bodies. But what an accomplishment, not just for this president, but for the country.
It does seem like he's been working on this for a while, and man, I think it might be happening. I think they're gonna release the hostages. I don't see them personally. Releasing all of them, just because then they wouldn't have any more leverage. The other side would definitely have to give them something really big in return. So I kind of want to know what the deal is. You know, what's the deal
For Israel and for the world.
This is phase one. So all the hostages will be brought home on Monday, we're being told. Israel will withdraw its troops from Gaza.
What?
And all parties, President Trump says, will be treated fairly. Those
All
images
hostages will
are
be
very touching
brought
of
back
seeing
by
these loved ones, their
Monday, or
family
on
members,
Monday.
praising Donald Trump, dancing in circles, flying the Israeli flag, and look, flying the American flag there in Tel Aviv as well. This is being felt around the world. We're getting reaction from Democratic lawmakers here in the United States, as well as obviously
I don't see
Republicans
any
praising
American
Donald Trump.
flags over there.
Prime Minister of the UK, we're hearing
Oh, there we
from
go.
Benjamin Netanyahu thanking Donald Trump and inviting him to address the Israeli parliament on Sunday.
Here's the reaction from the
Dang.
hostage families.
So hostages are expected to be released by Monday, guys. Now this is, let's see, October 9th, 2025. Man, what an exciting day. All right, and let's talk about the shutdown, you guys. Talk about the shutdown and this 3-eye atlas that we have actually moving into our galaxy. Well, it's literally passing Mars. It was the closest approach to Mars on the 3rd. And yeah, it just conveniently, the whole government shuts down right after inviting 800 generals to the Pentagon to talk about something big. It's kind of suspicious, right? I mean, it's very
Geophysicist
fishy.
Stefan Burns here. Interstellar object 3-eye Atlas is now at its
Stefan
closest
Burns, shout out.
approach to Mars today, October 3rd, less than 0.2 astronomical units away from the red planet. And this is a critical time period to get observations of 3-eye Atlas from all the different probes that we have surrounding Mars. And well, it just so happens that there is a United States government shutdown in effect at this moment in time. So a bunch of different websites for NASA.
Conveniently, right? Everything's just conveniently shut down when it makes its closest approach to Earth. You know?
And
Conveniently.
social media pages and everything are all inactive, not being updated. Kind of odd and bizarre. I'm not going to comment on it more than that, but we do have this shutdown interfering with our ability to observe actually what is happening in our interstellar neighborhood. And with this object that is the most bizarre of any that we have ever observed, a lot of people think it may be some sort of technology or alien ship. It does have a variety of very weird features.
Yeah, it's definitely weird as hell. This thing has no comma tail, still getting closer to our sun. It's literally right next to our sun now, and there's still no comma. No comma. That means it's not losing gas. It's not gassing. It's not outgassing. It's not made of a rock. It's not, you know what I mean? And the fact that it's 82% carbon, that shit's crazy, bro. Because things are not supposed to be pure carbon, as you guys know. Only we do that. Only we separate carbon from other metals. We don't. It's weird. Very weird.
To it. The fact that it's so closely aligned to the ecliptic plane of the solar system, the fact that's traveling so fast at about 60 kilometers per second. It'll peak at about 68 kilometers per second during its perihelion, October 29th and the 30th. And that is, of course, if it actually gets there. Right now, we are limited in our ability to observe 3i Atlas from Earth because of the glare of the sun. So check that out.
So basically, it's on the other side of the sun now. So we're on this side. It's literally, it's blind to us because it's on the opposite side of the sun. So we cannot see it now. But as soon as it comes out from this side of the sun, when it comes out, it'll, because I think it's moving like this, right? So as soon as it comes out, remember, comets don't move the direction of their away from their tail. The tail faces away from the sun always, because it's from the rays of the sun. So the comet tail always faces away from the sun. If you guys didn't know that.
This right here is the superior conjunction of 3i Atlas as viewed from Earth. We also have another.
So there's that. Yeah, that's crazy. And then we got the Palisades, the fire, got a suspect.
This is a Fox News alert. An arrest has been made in connection with the deadly and destructive Palisades fire that destroyed thousands of structures, including people's homes, and ruined countless lives across the city of Los Angeles. Now, any moment from now, there will be a formal announcement of those charges. An acting U.S. attorney for the Central District of California, Bill Asalee, will speak alongside other law enforcement officials. We will bring that to you live once it begins. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Kayleigh McGee-White, Fox News contributor, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, and Charles Payne, host of Making Money with Charles Payne on Fox Business. Now let's begin with Matt Finn, who's live in the Pacific Palisades, California. Matt, what do we expect?
Well, Kayleigh, sources tell Fox that an arrest has been made in relation to the Palisades fire. Our understanding is this person maliciously started a fire. And I'm standing here not only to show you the devastation of this lot that was burned out behind me, which represents thousands of lots in the Palisades, but also in the mountain area behind me.
I think if you start a fire like that and multiple people die, that's kind of like an act of terror. I personally think it's an act of terror. Starting a fire that big where multiple people die and you literally take out whole blocks, I think is definitely somewhat of an act of terror, right? That's what I think.
That is where we believe the origin of the fire began, near what's called the Skull Rock Trailhead. United States Attorney Bill Asalee expected to announce the arrest and possible federal charges at any moment. Now, the homeowners here in the Palisades and thousands others, they want answers, and we believe we're finally going to get some very specific details in just a matter of moments. Authorities here say 12 people were killed in the Palisades fire. So don't forget that there are deaths attributed to this fire, more than 6,800
12 people were killed and nearly, what did he say? Nearly 600?
U.S. Attorney Bill Asalee is walking in now. I'll toss it back to you guys.
Nearly 6,000 people had to move, 12 fatalities. That is crazy, bro. That is insane. And somebody did that shit intentionally? Bro.
Thank you, Matt. Well, we will take you live to Bill Asalee as he announces that arrest.
At least they got the dude, if you live in a Colorado zip code, at least they got the guy, because, man, I thought it was the government. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was the government.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Bill Asalee, the acting United States Attorney for the Central District of California. Today, we are announcing the arrest of 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht for igniting a fire that ultimately burned down the Palisades earlier this year, killing 12 people, destroying more than 6,800 structures, both homes and businesses, and damaging over 1,000 more buildings. The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison. The defendant was arrested yesterday on a federal criminal complaint near his Florida residence, and he's expected to make his initial appearance today in the federal court in Orlando, Florida. I stress that the complaint contains allegations, and every defendant is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The allegations in the affidavit are supported by digital evidence, including the defendant's ChatGPT prompt of a dystopian painting showing in part a burning forest and a crowd fleeing from it. And we're going to put that up on the screen here once we get that going. The allegations are, there it is.
Wow.
That's from his ChatGPT. That's an image he produced a few months before the fire started. It shows the city being burned there. The allegations are further supported by the defendant's cell phone, his false statements to law enforcement, and his behavior during the Lockman fire, which the defendant is charged with maliciously starting shortly after midnight on New Year's Day of this year, and which eventually became the Palisades fire. Late last New Year's Eve, Rinderknecht returned to Pacific Palisades after working the evening shift as an Uber driver. Two of his passengers told law enforcement that he appeared agitated and angry that night. After dropping off a passenger in Pacific Palisades, Rinderknecht parked his car and tried and failed to contact a former friend. He exited the car, walked up a nearby trail, took iPhone videos at a nearby hilltop, and listened to a rap song whose music video including objects being lit on fire.
Damn.
The defendant had listened to this song and watched its music video repeatedly in the days leading up to the Lockman fire. 12 minutes into the new year...
Are they using his social media to incriminate him? Bro, that's what they're doing. You guys see this shit? They're using his social media to incriminate him because he had a AI image generated of a fire. He had a music video that had people lighting stuff on fire. Like, so you can't say that you can't tie him to a crime because of what he has, what content he's making. That doesn't make any sense. You could say he was thinking about fires. I mean, that's really all it proves.
Environmental sensing platforms indicated that a fire had started.
Not even a motive.
It took the defendant several tries to contact 911 to report the fire. He fled the scene in his car, but turned around after passing fire engines driving in the opposite direction to fight the fire. While the Lockman fire burned, the defendant walked up the same trail from earlier that night to watch the fire and firefighters, using his iPhone to take short videos of the scene. Although firefighters suppressed the blaze, the fire continued to smolder and burn underground within the root structure of the dense vegetation. So that fire started on January 1st, and it smoldered underground for about a week until on January 7th, heavy winds caused this underground fire to surface and spread above ground, causing what became known as the Palisades Fire, one of the most destructive wildfires in Los Angeles City history. Law enforcement got to work and by January 24th had identified and interviewed the defendant. During his interview, he lied about where he was when he first saw the Lockman fire, claiming he was near the bottom of a hiking trail. Geolocation data for the 911 call showed that he was standing above the fire in a clearing merely 30 feet from the blaze as it rapidly grew. As the world watched in horror as the Palisades fire burned, victims perished in the smoke and flames. Homes where cherished family memories and belongings were turned to rubble and ash. The iconic Pacific Coast Highway along Malibu looked like a war zone. Thousands of people were forced to evacuate. Though homes and businesses cannot be rebuilt, this arrest, we hope, will provide a measure of justice to all those who were impacted. We're going to do questions at the end, and we're going to get into more detail. But I want to thank the outstanding partnership we had in getting this case to where it's at. Thanks to the work of the ATF and investigative support from both the LAPD and the Los Angeles Fire Department and the U.S. Forest Service for their hard work in this investigation.
Bro.
I'm going to turn it over now to Kenny Cooper, who's the special agent in charge of the ATF Los Angeles Field Office.
ATF.
Good morning. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm the special agent in charge of ATF's Los Angeles Field Division. Today marks a significant moment in a long road to justice for our community. After more than 8 months of tireless, meticulous work, I stand here with our partners, proud to announce an arrest in connection to the devastating Palisade fires that claimed lives, destroyed homes, and shook this community to its core.
They should ask for the death penalty.
Jonathan
killed 12 people,
aged
and ruined
29,
countless
residing
lives.
in Melbourne, Florida, was taken into federal custody by ATF special agents, a Los Angeles City Fire Department investigator, and a Los Angeles police detective. This partnership and arrest is significant in the three agencies working hand in glove to get this investigation to where it is.
Wow, someone actually started that fire, bro.
You can sneak through this hidden entrance
So
to
you got
trigger a
people
combat
all
dungeon.
over the
Most
country
players never notice there's a secret dungeon.
starting fires, bro. That is just insane, bro. That is insane.
44F, malicious destruction by means of a fire of real property owned by an organization receiving federal financial assistance. I know this community has endured a long wait for answers. Families have carried an unmanageable grief, and an entire community has been left to heal while living with questions. Although we cannot share every detail of this investigation, it is still an active investigation, and judicial proceedings remain ahead. I can tell you this, from day one, ATF and our partners have been relentless. We made a promise to find answers, and we have kept that promise.
Dang.
To give you a sense of the work, I want to highlight the extraordinary level of cooperation between ATF and our partners.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles City Fire Department, the Los Angeles Police Department.
Craziness, right? Craziness.
Beautiful American citizen who was killed at the hands of an illegal immigrant. So this administration is trying to enforce our nation's laws in the most humane way possible, and we're upholding the law, and we're doing that on behalf of the people of our country who live here.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. What is the level of concern that the administration has regarding a protracted government shutdown in terms of its impact on the U.S. economy and also its impact on small businesses as well?
Well, look, this government shutdown is no doubt going to impact everyday Americans, and it is the fault of the Democrats that we are in this position. And I know I relayed some programs that will be impacted, the Vice President did as well, but I just want to make sure the American public understand what the Democrats have done to our government and our country. 1.3 million active duty troops will work now without pay. Critical food assistance for low-income women, infants, and children will now lapse. No new mothers or children are allowed to join this critical program because of the Democrats' decision to shut down the government. Telehealth services for seniors and in-home treatment options for Medicare patients will now come to an end. Nearly 50,000 members of the United States Coast Guard are going to have to work unpaid. Over 13,000 air traffic controllers will work without pay, as well as TSA agents, which will very likely create flight disruptions. And pay will now stop for over 150,000 federal law enforcement officers. These are not just numbers and statistics. These are real Americans who have families at home. And I saw some Democrat members today saying they're still going to accept their paychecks because they have 3 kids at home and they have mouths to feed. Well, so do these federal workers who those same Democrats just voted to shut down the government and turn off their pay. And we believe that's very unfair, and it's why the administration wants to see the government reopened.
GDP growth fell by about 0.5 percentage point during the last government shutdown during the president's first term. Are you expecting a similar type of impact on GDP growth related to this
potential protracted government shutdown?
Well, look, I think it's dependent upon how long this shutdown continues. So it's dependent on how long it takes Democrats to muster up the coverage, 5 of them, to vote in the best interest of our country, our citizens, and our economy. Eamon.
Thank you, Caroline. Yesterday, your administration took a 5%.
So the government shut down because Democrats didn't want to vote? Is that what she's saying? That's what they're saying, right? They need 5 Democrat votes. So until the government's going to be shut down until they decide they want to vote. What?
Stake in Lithium Americas and a stake in the mine that they're working on, and you've taken stakes in other companies and revenue streams from other companies. Can you articulate the broader principle here? When does the administration see it as appropriate to demand equity stakes or revenue streams from American companies? And what other companies are you going to be demanding those from?
Well, look, this is a creative solution by the President of the United States to tackle our nation's crippling debt crisis. As I said earlier, we are $37 trillion, trillion with a T, in debt. And not only is the president effectively utilizing tariffs to bring in massive amounts of revenue, and there's billions of dollars coming in every month. I know you know that, even, because you cover it on CNBC quite well. So the president is focused on how can the United States government make more money? How can we make our country wealthy and rich again? And cutting some of these unique creative deals with companies around the world and here at home is just one way the president is seeking to do that. And I know the Department of Energy just announced this new deal. It's another great deal for the American people and our government.
And Elisa Cook,
sure, go ahead.
Elisa Cook, the Supreme Court said today that she's going to be allowed to stay at the Federal Reserve Board until oral arguments in January. Does the president have any personal reaction to that? This has been something he's been very intent on.
Look, we have respect for the Supreme Court, but they're going to hear the actual case and make a determination on the legal argument in January. And we look forward to that because we maintain that she was fired well within the president's legal authority to do so. She was removed from the board, and we look forward to that case being fully played out at the Supreme Court. Reagan.
I have one for you on EJ and Tony and one on the shutdown.
Sure.
CNN reported that Collins and Murkowski declined to meet with EJ and Tony, raising concerns that his nomination was in trouble. I'm wondering what message Collins and Murkowski are sending to the White House by not meeting with one of the president's nominees.
Well, look, EJ Antony remains a great ally of the president and our team. It became clear, unfortunately, that he was not going to have the votes, and so we will be announcing a replacement nominee very soon.
And on the shutdown, I'm just wondering how soon you could see cuts to the federal workplace, and if there's a specific agency that will experience the most cuts or be focused.
Unfortunately, because the Democrats shut down the government, the president has directed his cabinet, and the Office of Management and Budget is working with agencies across the board to identify where cuts can be made, and we believe that layoffs are imminent. They are, unfortunately, a consequence of this government shutdown. Ed.
So you talk about the layoffs being imminent. Is there a percentage then of reduction that the White House is looking for of workforce?
I don't have a specific percentage for you.
Can I ask what about China, if I could? So China has not made one soybean purchase this year in the United States. I talked to a farmer yesterday who has about 1,000 acres in Iowa and says this is just killing her. Now, the president has been talking to President Xi. Could China not buying agriculture affect a possible meeting with the president? Would he not meet with Xi because China has refused to buy soybeans from the U.S.?
Look, I don't want to speak for the president and make a determination on that from this podium, but what I can tell you is that supporting America's farmers and doing what's best for them is at the top of the president's priority list, and it's at the top of the list for this administration right now. There have been several very high-level meetings on this very topic. We want to help our farmers, and we're exploring the best ways to do that, and I would anticipate there will be more to come on that very soon.
You can send a message to the Chinese president.
Look, I just shared that message. The president wants what's best for America's farmers. Sean.
Hey, Carolyn.
Hi.
2 things to ask you about.
Sure.
First thing, I want to ask about this video that the president posted the other day. It was an AI deepfake of himself talking about something called med beds. What was he trying to communicate to the public there, and why did he delete it?
I think the president saw the video and posted it, and then took it down. And he has the right to do that. It's his social media. He's incredibly transparent, as you all know. You hear from him directly on social media. He likes to share memes. He likes to share videos. He likes to repost things that he sees other people post on social media as well, and I think it's quite refreshing that we have a president who is so open and honest directly himself, many a times on Truth. You are hearing directly from the President of the United States.
And second thing, how did the White House decide that it is appropriate for Jared Kushner to be working on matters that involve Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, 3 countries that combined have given him more than $2.5 billion for his investment firm?
Wow. I think it's frankly despicable that you're trying to suggest that it's inappropriate for Jared Kushner, who is widely respected around the world and has great trust in relationships with these critical partners in these countries, to strike a 20-point comprehensive detailed peace plan that no other administration would ever be able to achieve. And so Jared is donating his energy and his time to our government, to the President of the United States, to secure world peace, and that is a very noble thing. And this is a peace plan that has not just been accepted by Israel, but it has been applauded by Muslim and Arab countries around the world. It has been applauded by European leaders around the world. Virtually everyone in the world is supportive of this plan that Jared Kushner offered his time to help put together alongside our Special Envoy Witkoff, the Vice President, the President of the United States, Secretary Rubio, and the President's entire national security team. We are very proud of that plan, and we hope Hamas will accept it because it will lead to a more peaceful and prosperous Middle East.
Makes sense.
2 questions. One, we're talking a lot about these layoffs and hypotheticals, but Speaker Johnson earlier today said that there is a proposal from the White House that House Republicans are expected to hear this afternoon about these mass layoffs. Can you tell us what is in that proposal? What agencies, what programs, what jobs?
Okay, let's see what else we got here.
President Trump, you have the best crowd in the world. What do you guys have to say to President Trump? Thank you.
Thank you.
You did
Bringing the hostages back.
Thank you. This is amazing. Mr. President, we believe in you. We know you've done so much for us over the past, since you became a president, and even before that. And we trust you'll fulfill the mission until every hostage, every 48 of the hostages are home. Thank you so much. Blessed be the peacemakers.
God bless you, Mr. President. God bless America.
Thank you very much. You just take care of yourselves. The hostages will come back. They're all coming back on Monday.
All of them. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right.
Most people think that making a business on YouTube.
Bruh. Dang. And they say Trump's a dictator, bro. How the hell is he a dictator? I don't even understand that.
But it also doesn't happen without these families as well. They kind of went over the process when it comes to going through all the diplomatic, hurdles, and they went straight to the President of the United States because they knew he was the only one that could get this done.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because the families were really great advocates for their loved ones and their family members and friends. But they have to also be cognizant of the fact that if they just said, give me all the hostages back as everyone would want, they'd say, well, there's going to be another 2,000 killed because Hamas made it clear this is just the beginning. We're going to keep giving you more October 7th. That's what the Prime Minister has in his head. I have to eliminate this consistent sense of doom that Hamas, with daily rockets into all different areas arbitrarily into Israel, has to stop.
That's crazy.
And we know what's happened
Trump
when they
is
took out
actually
Iran's nuclear program and they...
getting the hostages back. That's crazy. I wonder what the actual deal is.
Severely almost destroyed Hezbollah. We hope they're
We
finished.
should chat GPT it, right? Let's chat GPT that. Hold on. I wanna know what the deal is. Let's see. I put, what's the deal that Trump made to get the hostages back from Hamas? What the deal is supposed to include. According to several news sources, Hamas would release all remaining Israeli hostages held in Gaza, living and deceased, within 72 hours of implementation. In exchange, Israel will free nearly 2,000 Palestinian security prisoners, including many serving life terms. 2,000 Palestinians they're going to release from prison. There would be a partial withdrawal of Israeli defense forces from certain parts of Gaza. A ceasefire in fighting is part of the agreement. The agreement is described by Trump as part of the border 20-point peace plan, or similarly detailed framework for Gaza. Humanitarian aid, access to Gaza, reconstruction, and security arrangements are likely part of the border plan, though the specifics are less clear. The exact number of hostages versus how many living. Oh, okay. So they're going to release, basically, they're going to release 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, I'm guessing. That's what they're going to do. They're going to release, that's what Israelis are going to do. He's going to have Israel release 2,000 prisoners, and they're going to release the rest of the hostages.
How is it that the Palestinian Authority, the Egyptian president, the Prime Minister of Israel, the hostage families, Hamas calling on Donald Trump to confirm this deal and make Israel follow through? They all have one thing in common. They all have different interests, but they all were leaning on President Trump to bring this plane in. And I'm not exaggerating. How did he do it? This is what's going to be written about. How did he remain the most popular politician in Israel while being the most accessible in the Arab world and possibly the most respected at the most divisive time?
Yep. There are 2 Americans that are believed to be dead, that are hostages, that their bodies will be brought back home. There's Itay Chen, 19-year-old dual U.S. and Israeli citizen, was serving the IDF when he was killed. Born in the U.S. and raised in Israel, and former Boy Scout, loved basketball and video games, but his parents are demanding for the return of their son's body for a proper burial. There's also Omer Nutra. He's a 21-year-old dual U.S. Israeli citizen, a native of Plainview, New York. Deferred college to go and serve in the IDF, and was a tank platoon commander and the grandson of Holocaust survivors.
It looks like all of the hostages are like mostly soldiers, IDF soldiers, and like assets and shit like that. That's really what it seems like.
To your point, the president used multiple tools with this deal. He used the economic prosperity. Okay, do you want to open up your country to businesses there? Do you want a better future? This is something that he tried to get Kim Jong-un to understand, is that he tried to paint this picture of prosperity, but he also used force. The destruction of the nuclear sites of Iran definitely put pressure, and he also used tariffs as well.
Look at these pictures, Lawrence and Brian. I mean, they're all so young. Imagine what they've been through. And we're so grateful that they will be coming home, but they'll have a lot of healing ahead of them.
Right, and we hope that number is in the high 20s, but we just don't know. An extremely rare moment unfolding on the word of the historic deals, both Israelis and Palestinians celebrating in the street.
Steve Harrigan joins us now from Tel Aviv with details on what comes next. Steve.
Ainsley, another excellent sign. Israeli officials now announcing that there is a ceasefire in Gaza. Now, Israeli forces still...
That's tight. That's tight. All right. So that's all I have for you guys today. I will be back with another one tomorrow morning. Catch you guys on the next one. SKiLLZ Reacts, and we'll be reacting to more. Let's go.